too big. Or I just stick it on as is.
So the entire top bit of the carpet's just sticking to that little bit, so if that foam peels off,
Yep, the
the
carpet
whole
will
carpet
come.
comes off.
Yep. That's why I'm not convinced on it. I don't know what else to do up there.
Hello. This video is a bit of a hodgepodge of different bits of our van build. Here we're carpeting up the back of a bulkhead to the front cab. We debated quite a bit whether or not we would remove the bulkhead or leave it in. Reasons for leaving it in included opening up the van a bit more to make it feel bigger and brighter perhaps, possibly enabling access to the driver's seat in an emergency. Ultimately, however, we decided to leave it in for quite a few reasons. We don't have two captain swivel seats up the front anymore in this van. We wanted the van to have 3 seats, so we could take a passenger along with us if we want. The middle seat also will be our little toy poodle's jump seat on our journeys. The double passenger seat also has a rigid frame and doesn't tilt back and is quite tall, so removing the bulkhead doesn't actually give that much more open space in the van. We would not be able to climb through either once our fridge cupboard's up, so we're not really gaining that much. And in fact, we could probably use the back of the bulkhead being a magnetic wall for attaching things as well. We also found in the old van that most heat gain in summer and heat loss in winter was through our front windows. This will reduce that by having our nice little sealed container. Also, and particularly in winter, we used to get quite a bit of condensation on the front windows overnight when we were sleeping in the van. So especially if we were stealth camping, it really wasn't that stealthy. You could tell that someone was actually sleeping in the van from all that condensation. So having this sealed off section in there, we should no longer have that. It would also be a quieter drive as well as a safer one when we're driving. If there was an accident, we were not going to get hit in the back of the head by any projectiles in the back or detached fittings from the back of the van coming flying forward. Hopefully they'll just all bounce off the bulkhead now. The result, removing the bulkhead also results in a lot of trim needing to be made up to cover up all the raw bits of the van. So in the end, we decided to just leave it in and cover it up with the carpet as we're doing here. One of the disadvantages of living in a slightly more remote area where we do, on an island state, is that we're often much more reliant on online purchases for equipment for the build. These often come with increased costs for shipping, as well as just taking a lot longer to be delivered. We found that our progress in the build's been stalled a few times while we await key items to be delivered. One of the advantages, however, of living here is that we have great areas like this one where we can go for walks, which are just not too far away from home, where we can just chill out while we're on pause for building and just enjoy a bit of forest bathing. Looking good so far?
Apart from a few creases up that end, but that's
We're not going to see that end. That's going to be behind cupboards.
And yeah, it's as good as I was expecting it to get with my abilities or lack thereof.
Stuff that van. Doing some insulation. And it now smells like a bit like a barnyard.
Does a bit.
So it's Havelock sheep's wool. It smells very sheepy. So she's got some insulation done. And now doing some of the tricky bits before she gets into the flat bit of the roof.
The easy.
The easy bits. Do the little stuffing bits first. If only you had a competent helper.
It's okay.
Here we are with our shower cubicle. If you're wondering what the difference between a Sprinter van and a Ducato is in the curvature, this shower cubicle is actually a design for a Sprinter van. So it just has a increasing curvature up the top here. Comes in a lot more for the Sprinter compared to straight up for a Ducato. Oops, so here we are getting ready for, well, if you count all the little screw holes for the solar panel, hole number 12 in the roof of the van. What could possibly go wrong with that? And a hole in the roof, hopefully the last one. And oh, it's not the man in the moon, it's the woman in the moon.
Hello!
So, why put in the most fragile thing first? Well, purely because of its sheer size. We want to put wooden furring strips or battens across the top. We want to build our little cupboard for our fridge here, and a couple of other things that are going to be holding in this. But once we start building all that, we won't be able to put the shower in because it's so tall and it will be squashed around. So the first thing is put that in, and we're going to build around that. Stay tuned to see how that goes. And the top side of our shower, so we have the little shower dome that we just put on today. And hopefully the last hole in the roof. Oh, we did have one slight thinking error. Our little screw, you can still see protruding a little bit. We have to get our little screwdriver to be able to tighten it up, because once we stuck it on, we realised off that angle we can't actually tighten it up properly. But we'll get there. Haha, problem solved. One screwdriver with an extra bit. Woohoo! This is our little homemade headliner. The van didn't actually come with one up the very top. So
No.
no. I want to get one
Put the
more.
screw here.
Every time I stop recording you.
We put this board up here, to put that board in, and then that'll really hold it in place up here. That'll be really nice once you put that board here.
Okie dokie.
Just leave that hanging for the moment, because I don't think this is quite cleared.
So just a quick update from what we've been doing for the last few days. We've obviously installed our shower cubicle, and we're going to now frame it out with a bit of wood in front, our cupboard on the left and the back wall on the right. But before we could do that, we had to finish off some of our carpeting where you may see behind cupboards, and the same for on top where we won't be able to get in once we've got this cupboard here. So we've created this little lining. We're going to have other trim and other things around there, but just so it's all nice and neat up there. And we've also put in just some of our bracing strips or furring strips or battens or whatever we want to call them for when we stick up our cupboards, and put in a few riv nuts across the top beams so we can put more bits of wood or battens and furring strips across there so we can attach our roof hopefully sometime soon.